During the 1975-76 season, Ken Carter established himself as the all-time leader in scoring, assists, and steals at Richmond High School in California. In Richmond, everyone with nice things was breaking laws to get them. When Ken Carter saw people with the nice things doing it the right way, he wanted to be like them. Although basketball was Ken Carter's life, he still went on to college where he was shown a different way to live. Gang life, drug dealing, and breaking laws were some of the only ways to get out of poverty in Richmond. We see this in the movie, Coach Carter, with protagonist Timo Cruz being involved in drug dealing with his cousin.
Almost dead last academically in the state of California.
Richmond High School needs a lot of attention. I mean, it's a lot going on there. They're taking the sports out the school right now. I mean, it really do, because a lot of kids, despite the fact it's not a great athletic school, it still got kids in there who wants to be somebody.
When Carter returned to Richmond as the coach, the basketball team had no nets, no shoes, no socks. 50% of the student athletes did not graduate, and on top of all of this, they were dead last academically in the state of California. There was no help from the school board or the community either, as taxpayers didn't vote to fund athletic programs, which eventually led to many athletic programs at Richmond being shut down.
I'm not saying this is not going to be a challenge.
As I was coming back to the old gym and I thought I was going to get this warm welcome because my name is on the All-American board, and the kid was just like, please, you're dressed in a suit and tie?
Still holds records for scoring, assists, steals.
You look like a preacher.
Are you some preacher man or some shit? Because God ain't gonna do you no good in this neighborhood.
I live in this neighborhood, sir.
Sir, can you believe this uppity Negro? Sir.
You really are going to need God if you think you're going to come here and make us act like you act and say yes, ma'am, and no, sir.
It's fair to say that the players at first were not keen on his style of coaching, with starter Chris Dixon stating, "Sometimes I felt like he was too serious. He would come at me wrong. I mean, I didn't like him." Another player, Marvin Miranda, stated he was just hard-nosed. If you didn't do what he said, that was it. You weren't playing, or you were going to do a ton of push-ups every time you talked back to him. He was just mean. Carter had a strict style of coaching. He began with a disciplinary training regimen for the team, focused largely on conditioning and teamwork. Alongside this, he had his team sign and obey contracts, which required them to sit in the front row of all their classes and maintain a 2.3 GPA.
When I first seen the contract, I was like, I'm not signing this. What are you gonna do for me? Are you gonna go to war for me? Are you gonna, if I'm being done wrong in the classroom, are you gonna go tell my teacher she's wrong? Are you, if I'm being done wrong by a referee, are you gonna tell him he's wrong? If a fan threw a punch at me, are you gonna be the coach to come over there and help me? Or are you gonna be the coach to sit there and just watch?
Each player signed a contract with me, personal contract, and their parent had to sign it also. And so, out of the 10 things on that contract for student athletes, only one of them related to basketball. Just one thing. Everything else was academic goals and personal goals they wanted to achieve.
There goes our 2 leading scorers from last season, man.
And I guess we'll have new leading scorers this season, huh?
3 of the best kids from the year prior walked out of the gym immediately after hearing the coach's request. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, Damian Carter, Ken Carter's son, withdrew himself from a private school, St. Francis, restructured his father's contract to meet even higher standards, and called the high school to enroll himself. After the Oilers had their best start in history, the community began to embrace the team. Posters and windows and free haircuts were just some of the royalties for being in this family as the players gained celebrity status in Richmond. However, this Cinderella story would take a turn. After Coach Carter received a grade report that would prove several members of the basketball team to not have met the contract standards. Despite their historic run of form, he closed the gym. Even the members who were excelling were punished, as the team was treated like a family. This was such a phenomenon to the point where interviewers asked the players themselves how they felt and if their GPA was up.
I already got a 2.8, and I'm sitting on a 3.0 coming into next semester, so what do I need to work on my grades for?
It was like, I'm working hard to keep my stuff together and I gotta sit out. But, we win as a team and you lose as a team, so we might as well be locked out as a team also.
I was mad because I was like, why can't just the ones that are passing play and the ones that aren't passing not play? Just like, that's how the football team does it. If you're not eligible, you don't play.
Yeah, I wasn't into it. I really wasn't into the lockout. I was like the bah humbug, Uncle Scrooge.
The kids just wasn't being good citizens.
At this point, Coach Carter was prepared to forfeit the entire season in order for his players to better their educations. You see, in Richmond, 65% of student athletes thought they would play professionally before their dreams are shattered. Coach Carter wanted more for these kids.
And I've seen those broken dreams from my friends, from people who went before me, and I'm just thinking, I want more for these kids. When the coach has a higher standard for academics than the school board, we have a problem.
College. That's a viable option for all of you. But you have to perform in the classroom to have that chance. You have to have a vision.
I would tell people, I said, if you're looking for your kid to go to pro, I'm the wrong coach. But if you're looking for your kid to get into college, I can help him get into college.
He had set higher standards than the rest of the division for his athletes. The community was confused and in uproar with the coach's mindset. He was going to throw away the state title. His response, the game is not about us. It's about the kids.
Life is over, but it's not like that.
As coaches, the game is not about us. It's about the kids. And they were going, are you crazy? They said, you're going to lose your job. Basically, you're going to lose your job. You have an undefeated team. You're going to win state. And you're gonna mess it all up?
The story of the coach from an undefeated high school basketball team locking the gym to focus on education went so viral that even the governor of California took notice and came down to Richmond to watch the game.
I got punished the same way anybody else would. If I was late to practice, I had to run too. I had to do push-ups too. I got yelled at too. To have the love he has with Damien, about being around him, spending a lot of time with him, has taught me a little bit about what I need to have on my son. Not so much that I want to coach my son when he gets a little older, but I just want to be close to him and, you know, we be able to talk about anything. And, you know, watching Coach Carter and Damien together, it really has given me an insight on what a father can be and should be.
To be successful, you need help. And so I wanted them to start seeing the team and the love that a family has. And it comes from my 7 sisters. I mean, I was one of the most nurtured kids in America.
Like Richmond, many other areas in the U.S. suffer with systemic discrimination in the education system. Schools in impoverished areas often lack resources and receive lower scores due to these limitations, which hinders academic success. Coach Carter ultimately fights against the odds and promotes education, accountability, connection, and family-based agreements and expectations. In the sporting world, the outside factors are very often looked past. This does not apply for the case of Coach Carter. In a city with seemingly no fair way out, no support from educators, and no belief, Ken Carter was a real hero. Don't believe me? See the outcomes yourself.
I am now at Occidental College in Los Angeles, and after I graduate, I want to go to medical school and become a cardiologist.
Right now I'm at Cal, and after that I want to go to medical school and practice optometry.
I play for ABA team, American Basketball Association, team called the Las Vegas Rattlers.
I got an associate's degree in business. I'm moved on to University of New Orleans. I'm majoring in hotel, restaurants, and tourism.
I'm currently going to Humboldt State. I'm transferring to San Francisco State. I'm going to get my degree in sociology.
These boys that you hear about, Courtney Anderson, Wayne Oliver, Chris Gibson, Damian Carter, Marvin Miranda, when you hear these kids' names being mentioned in Richmond, you're going to see them on city council seats. You're going to see them as doctors. You're going to see them as lawyers. And you know what? In the beginning of all this, sir, people would say, Coach, you shouldn't set those type of expectations for those kids because they're going to fail. 5 years later, I'm able to say, you know what? All of them are succeeding. And that's a very good thing.